Comparison is quietly draining you. Welcome back to Still Standing, a Stoic Mindset. Episode 8. Why comparison steals your peace. Comparison is one of the most subtle thieves of peace. It doesn't arrive loudly. It doesn't always feel negative at first. Sometimes it shows up as curiosity, sometimes motivation, sometimes self-reflection. But Stoicism teaches us something important. When comparison becomes constant, it pulls your focus away from your own path and fractures your peace. Today, we're talking about why comparison steals your peace and how Stoicism teaches contentment, focus, and inner stability in a world that constantly invites comparison. Let's start here. Comparison feels natural because the mind is always evaluating. It wants reference points. It wants context. We compare progress, success, relationships, healing timelines. But Stoicism reminds us that natural does not always mean healthy. Comparison often pulls your attention outward instead of inward. Instead of asking, am I aligned? You start asking, am I ahead or behind? And that question alone creates pressure. Stoicism teaches that peace begins when your focus returns to what is yours. The Stoics believe that comparison is rooted in attachment to externals. You begin measuring your worth against other people's outcomes, other people's timelines, other people's visibility. But Stoicism teaches that your value is not determined by comparison. It's determined by character. You can't control where someone else is, what they've been given, what they're showing publicly, but you can control your effort, your discipline, your integrity. Stoicism teaches that peace comes from competing only with who you were yesterday. Comparison quietly does damage. It creates self-doubt, restlessness, impatience, dissatisfaction. Even when you're doing well, you stop enjoying progress because someone else appears further ahead. You minimize growth because it doesn't look like someone else's. Stoicism teaches that when you measure yourself against others, you surrender control of your peace. Your mind becomes dependent on external benchmarks instead of internal alignment. Comparison is especially dangerous in a world of constant visibility. You're comparing highlight reels to real life, curated moments to private struggles, public success to unseen effort. Stoicism teaches us to question appearances. What you see is not the full picture. What's loud is not always stable. What looks effortless often isn't. When you understand this, comparison loses its grip. Stoicism reminds you to return to your lane and run it well. Stoicism doesn't teach complacency. It teaches contentment without stagnation. Contentment means I appreciate where I am. I continue improving without resentment. I don't rush my timeline. Contentment allows ambition without anxiety. You can desire growth without devaluing the present. That balance is Stoic wisdom. Here's a simple Stoic practice. When comparison shows up, ask, is this helping me grow or distracting me? If it distracts, refocus on effort, refocus on discipline, refocus on what's within your control. Comparison fades when purpose becomes clear. Comparison steals peace because it moves your attention away from the only life you're responsible for, your own. Stoicism teaches that fulfillment comes from alignment, not competition. You don't need to rush. You don't need to measure yourself against others. You don't need to prove where you are. Your journey doesn't need validation. When you stay focused on your path, comparison loses its power. That's how you remain grounded. That's how you stay content. That's how you remain still standing. Before we close, remember this. Peace grows when focus returns inward. In the next episode, we'll be talking about accepting reality without resistance and why Stoicism teaches us to stop fighting what already is. If today's episode resonated with you, make sure to follow and stay connected. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and all platforms at DoseOfFae. Thank you for listening. Stay grounded, stay intentional, and remember, we're still standing.